Hey YouTube, coming at you from the woodlot here behind the garage. I started out this morning. I was going to cut up this firewood over here and cut this into 16s and then feed it down and put it on the splitter. But what's happening is I've noticed my sawbucks just don't work well for that. So I decided I was going to build a table to cut it on. So let's have a look here. So what I did here, and then after I started doing this, I'm like, you know what, I should make a video of this. But what I kind of engineered in my head is I'm just going to kind of build this and just go back and forth with them. There'll be two more logs on this, and one going this way, one going this way, and then I'll have smaller, probably 6-inch round logs going this way, kind of creating the top, so that way I can cut down. I don't have to worry about hitting anything. So this is basically a no cost with what I had laying around thing. This is just 1/2-inch rebar, so I'm drilling a 7/8 hole down. The rebar just slides into it. So the downside to doing this today is my tractor is down. I'm waiting on parts for that, so I get to do all this by hand. I'm going to grab a log. The only, I guess, call it measurement that I am concerned with is these two. It's close. That'll do. Now, with these first two, I drilled in and I did not go through because I don't want the rebar sticking out as a drag. Not that I'm planning on moving this, but if I did have to move it, I could just wrap a tie strap around that and pull it up or that way or wherever I need to go. So I just didn't want the rebar sticking out. Uh-oh. 12 amp hour battery with 2 bars. All right, so grab this guy. I cut these at, I don't even know. These are about 26. So at 26, I'm going roughly halfway into this because like I said, I don't want it to stick out. And I'll have one more going this way and halfway through one going this way. And then I'll be able to put 6 inches going this way. So I don't want that sticking out a long ways. It's about 1 inch. Just enough to get that to line up. And it's bottomed out, so that should work. I don't know if this shows up on camera, but there's definitely a downhill here. I want to use that to my advantage, that way the logs will roll down. All right, so I'm gonna have my leg here just so that way it doesn't shift down. And drilling. It's not bad for 2 bars. Again, this is 26 inches long. There, lined up. Okay, that is how we scientifically measure here. Looks good to me. This is 7 foot 1.5, so 85.5. I'm not really concerned if these are all the exact same length, as long as they're close. All right, so I need to grab a couple more of these for right here, and I think I'm gonna wrap this up for today. I don't know, I've been out here probably, I'm guessing about 4 hours to get this done. What I need to do is trim the other end of these, get these all in a line, and then anchor all of these top and bottom. So, should be good. Hey guys, welcome back. So what I'm doing here today is I'm going to finish up this log table. I had to go to the hardware store and pick up some of these. These are 4-inch long lag screws. I wanted them to hold the vertical supports down there. That way when the logs roll down, or the bigger logs roll down, they don't snap those off. So just kind of something I wanted to do. This is actually the only thing that I've had to buy to build this whole thing. Let me show you how I held all this together. So if we look here, if you notice, I started on this side here with some banding iron. I just screwed that in there, put a screw there, 1, 2, put one there, 1, 2, put one there, and just continued that the whole way down. This is actually one solid piece of banding iron all the way to the end. So that way I can, you know, if this doesn't work out or whatever, I can reuse it. On this end down here, let me show you what I did. So every 16 inches, I've got a cut line that represents how long the wood is. If you notice right here, this end is not attached. It's not going to go anywhere because they're held in place with those. And I'm going to leave it like this for now to start. I think it'll be easier if I have the ability to move these if I need to. I don't know that I'm going to have to. It's just that it's possible. You never know what you'll end up with. So if I find that I'm never moving them and I like where they're at, I'll probably take one of these and just put it down, you know, through there, screw it in place. So see how that goes. These are all just scrap boards I had laying around of varying lengths, and these are actually from the original house. This is a real 2x4. This was probably milled on the property, I would guess, because you can see these are all roofs on. So what I'll be doing is taking this, going through here into this big, I'm not going to bother with it down low, because when something hits this, the pressure will be up high, not down low. So I'll just stick one of these in each one and see how it works out. Just putting a 1/4 washer on them, getting them ready to plug in there. This is actually the only thing that I had to buy to do this. I had the banding iron, I had the 1.5 inch screws I used on the other end, and all the wood and everything. Obviously you can see it just kind of came from around here. We'll punch a hole in there and take my lag screw. There we go. Pretty simple. All right. So I've already got some drywall screws in these, so they were just 2.5 inch screws. It's just what I had laying around just to kind of stage this. Get these all prepped. Yeah, that's pretty solid. So, originally I was going to put the bigger lags down in the bottom too, but there's just no need. That's not going to help the structure of it at all. Just having them up high is where they need to be. So if we take this log and we picture it as, that big, call it 400 pounds, and it comes rolling down and hits this, one of two things happens. Either this shears off and snaps off, or the log ends up at an angle and then it's a headache to try and straighten it. So what I've done is I've only screwed this in on the top. So theoretically, if this was 400 pounds, it would come down like that. And then I can kind of hit that with a sledge or a maul to where it's just enough, flip that back up, and then I can have my 16s all in line. On this project, obviously all of the trees kind of sourced here. All of these 2x4s, these were literally in a pile that I had from old projects. That's why they're not exactly cut level, straight, whatever you want to call it. So these are just a pile of scraps. And the banding iron I had, the drywall screws, had those. The only thing that I didn't have that I had to buy was the lag screws. I had the 1/4 washers laying around. I am interested to work with this, get this up and running. However, the problem is my tractor is down at the moment, so I don't have any means to lift big logs onto this. I mean, these little ones I can throw up here, but I would rather try it out with the big logs. So as you can see, this is all pretty solid back here. I'm zero concern about any of it coming apart. All of these they range from probably 3 inches to the biggest ones are probably 4.5 in here up on top. Here is kind of the way all the banding iron is done, all the way down across the end. And then on the insides, this part I probably should have filmed better, but inside of this, what's holding that is I actually have a piece of 5/8 rebar, or sorry, 1/2 inch rebar inside of that, and I drilled a hole down through there, but it's not protruding out the top or the bottom on all 4 corners. So what happens is that rebar is what kind of, you know, gives that stuff lateral support so it doesn't want to roll or whatever, and then the compression support from on top. Now my issue is the wood table here needs to be right about here. So you got to get all this cleared up. I'll cut it up on here and then drag this over. To move this, I can just throw a chain or a strap around that top log and then just drag it with the tractor or the log skidder. I could probably pull it with a 4-wheeler. So that's kind of my plan.